Hi, what's up? I want to give a quick overview over my build, how it works, the gear, passive tree, gems, downsides of the build, some tips and tricks, the boss setup, and at the end a mapping showcase. So, what is the build? The Blink Autobomber evolved around Temporalis and Jar of the Storm. Basically, these two items are the whole build. The build focuses around Lightning Bolt and the inherited half a second cooldown of Lightning Bolt is deactivated with Temporalis, and of course the blink cooldown as well, so you can blink everywhere and be fast as fuck. So, for the whole build to come online, you need the amulet. Before that, you will do exactly no damage with the setup. The level 18 version of the amulet you can use at level 78. So before that you can't start the build, just as a little disclaimer. For the gear overall, you want a wand with +4 to level of lightning skills, just to get some more damage out of our lightning bolt. Some other extras are cast speed, just so you can blink faster. Spell damage, always good, just to get more DPS for your lightning bolt. You can have damage as extra lightning or lightning damage. Mana is nice to have. Of course, better rolls are better. And mana on kill is also okay, but you can get better rolls on that. You can even get a +5 one. I just crafted one before, but I wanted to show that it still works with a +4 one. And also works with a +3 level of lightning spell skills. Pretty good as well. I started with a +3 one. For our helmet at series this day. Pretty good to get a high ES pool, and our basic defense layer is ES, mana from Mind Over Matter, and life. So this one boosts the defense pretty high up. The spirit is pretty much needed. The helmet is not that expensive. It's pretty cheap actually, because it drops very often and the people corrupting it. Also the rarity is pretty nice with it. Also for our spirit, just so we can fit as many auras as we can, we want some high spirit on the scepter, and the only other good stats on scepters are mana, int, and mana regen. The rest of the possible stats are not that great, because they're mostly all ally in your presence stats, so just look for a high spirit one. And as a little tip, if you quality it up, it also hires the spirit. If you don't know that, now you know. The other item that's pretty good is a series Acuity. Just gives us a high crit chance, some nice int, and of course instant leech, which helps with the sustain. The rest of the gear is pretty much just fillers for getting max resistance, get some extra life. You can also get some mana there, but I wanted rarity, as long as rarity is good, of course. For the belt, you can go for an Ingenuity, I think is the name, the belt that pretty much copies your rings, but I like the charm slot. Of course you can also get the charm slot by anointing, but I wanted the mana on kill. You can also get here crit damage, crit chance, whatever you like, whatever you prefer. You have to test out what's the best for you. But yeah, basically all of those are pretty much up to you, how you wanna If you want more rarity, if you want more life or more mana on these slots, or another belt, that's pretty much up to you. I wanted the 2 charms just to don't get stunned and freezed, because that's the only times when I blink into a pack and they attack at the exact time they can freeze or stun me, so just want to prevent that. For the gem setup, I will start with the lightning bolt. This is our main source of damage. For the gem links, I have spell echo, just so it casts twice. Considered casting, life tap, and magnified effect. I had in this slot lightning mastery, but someone mentioned under one of my videos that the crashes are less with life tap linked to it, and yeah, I tested it out now for like 1 day and it was pretty smooth, like no crashes at all, or maybe 1 crash. So maybe it helps if you seem to crash very often. Test it out. Also for crashes, already a little tip: don't go too high, or if you crash really often, try to go a bit lower on your crit chance. Maybe that helps. That helped for me. Started with like 60 plus, 70 plus, and just worked my way down. 54 is still pretty good. You're doing so much damage. And the good thing about Lightning Bolt is, without the cooldown, it casts from itself. So you will trigger when you deal a critical hit, and if Lightning Bolt itself triggers a critical hit, it will trigger itself again. So that's the whole interaction with the skill. Also, you want to go for high crit damage. My 2 cast on dodge and critical are both used to proc spark, and we want spark to be very low level. You can use level 1 sparks or level 2 sparks, depends on your mana and how much regen or leech you have on mana. But yeah, spark is only there to hit the enemy, get a little crit, and the crit triggers our lightning bolt. That's why we have only sparks in the cast on dodge and the cast on crit. And as you see with the acceleration for the extra approach speed and the chain you will hit while mapping, it is very smooth. You just blink from one pack to another and like your whole screen gets deleted from lightning bolts. For the gem links, we have Spark, Acceleration, Chain and Spark, Cast on Crit, Spark, Inspiration and Fog. If you're fine with Lightning Mastery in Lightning Bolt, you can use the Life Tab instead of the Inspiration in Cast on Crit, because the Insta Leech and the Leech overall you get from Bloodmage will make the cost like 0. Archmage will be for the bossing setup. I will go over that later. Grim Feast, I mean, as long as it's that good and not nerfed, just use it, because with the life remnants and Grim Feast, I'm like all the time double life, double shield, which is pretty tanky. I also linked Vitality with it, just to have some extra regen. I'll blink here. That's a point where you have to take a look at your cooldown roll. That's pretty much the most significant roll you have to look for at your Temporalis, just to cut out the cooldown time of blink. Of course, we are also using Ingenuity here for the increased cooldown recovery rate, but to feel smooth, I would suggest a minimum of 3.6 seconds. Maybe less, maybe more, you have to test out. Arcane Tempo, just to get more cast speed, to blink faster, and Clarity, because I had a lot of spirit left over for the extra mana regeneration rate. Mana Tempest, you can use it sometimes on bosses, just to get some extra damage. Eye of Winter, I will go over that for the bossing. For the passive tree, the ascendancy points, pretty normal points, of course. This you have to take, this you want to take. This is nice for some extra crit damage, and this is of course perfect for the crits you need to hit. Most of the points are pretty much mana, ES, and crit chance, crit damage. Here I got a little Timeless Emerald, just to have a bit more crit damage bonus and some extra lightning. It's just a few %, but more damage is more damage. The key points here, life recharge and life recovery from flasks, because we are also using Mind over Matter. It's always your energy shield first, then mana, then life. So pretty nice for the regeneration of your energy shield, besides Grim Feast. What are the big downsides of the build? One, of course, is the lags. To reduce the lags, I have turned my image quality to ultra performance. It helps a bit in the maps, and what I would also suggest is dynamic culling. Also helps a bit with the FPS while mapping and also at bosses. The other big downside, of course, are bosses that are phasing. So when you trigger Lightning Bolt too much, and the boss has a second phase, then it will just unlimited trigger your Lightning Bolt, or the Lightning Bolts will trigger itself unlimited, and it will crash your instance. I lost a lot of boss maps and normal maps just because of the lags, so be aware of that. We can reduce it a lot with lower skill, lower crit chance, and the life tab and some graphic settings, but the servers sometimes can't handle that much damage. Also, what is a big problem is some maps have these, as you can see here. Not here, sorry. Here, these points in the map. Some maps have a lot of them, and you will see yourself always blinking in there, and you can't walk. There's some pretty shitty maps. Pretty shitty layouts, not only for the normal builds, but especially for blink, because you will blink into an invisible wall all the time, and then you get stuck. And yeah, that can be pretty annoying most of the time, but yeah, just be aware of that. Okay, now the bossing setup. Just like 2 hours I will change. For the bosses where you don't have to for the bosses that don't have phases, it's pretty easy. So first of all, take custom crit out. For the bosses that don't phase, you can still have it on like your normal setup. Go in, kill the boss, like map bosses and so on. But for the bigger bosses, like the pinnacle bosses, the ones that phase, you have to watch out, because there you shouldn't use Eye of Winter, like I will do here with Sash. But for the bosses like Sash that don't phase, it's pretty easy, and they will die pretty fast, as you will see. You just have to cast 1 or 2 Eye of Winter, and he will be dead. As you see, triggered like 10 times. For the bosses that phase, you just have to try to trigger your lightning bolt from just the sparks, so you have to be pretty quick and pretty aware. There it is good when you have a high crit chance, of course, because it will trigger faster and more often. If you don't have it, no worries. Sometimes you can even use the Eye of Winter, but most of the time it lags out the instance. So be aware of that. Also, for the gem setup, a little tip, put quality on every gem, especially the sparks, because the extra projectiles will also fire when they are cast on dodge, and the more projectiles, the better, the more procs you will get. Overall a fun build. Now I will show you some map I ran yesterday, so you can see that also mapping is pretty smooth and pretty fast. If you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments. I will answer as fast as I can, and as good as I can, of course. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any tips or tricks by yourself, also leave them in the comments. And thank you for watching.